Hi all, this is May and welcome back to my channel for a brand new speed build. So today I'm making a motel in combination with an outdoors pool and a little community area with bowling and such here in Oasis Springs. This is for my save file, and as always I do have a playlist up on my channel with all the builds I've done so far, so if you haven't checked it out, make sure to do so after this video. I'm so excited to be sharing today's video with you all because not only am I loving this build, but it is actually the last build in Oasis Springs that I'll be making for my save file. I've been really on it lately, finishing up a lot of builds. I've finally been getting some of my inspiration and motivation back after a period of builder's block, and currently I'm trying to finish up some more community lots in Newcrest. That will be the last neighborhood that I finish up, I believe. And then I've just got a bunch of speed builds that need to be edited and posted for you all here on YouTube. And I'm also really happy that so many of you enjoyed one of my recent builds that I did for the save file, which is the mom and daughter's retro home that was also for Oasis Springs. I feel like the previous retro homes I've done have been received very well here on YouTube, and that makes me so happy to see. We do love a good old retro home. It is such a fun concept though, and then you can blend in some of that modern flair as well if you want to. For some reason, I think that type of mid-century retro style is kind of coming back again for interiors. I saw some of that in the Businesses and Hobbies pack, at least blended in with some of that modern Scandinavian style. I actually think the build and buy in Businesses and Hobbies is one of my favorites. At least I've been using the items coming with the pack a lot recently, not only for residential lots, of course, but also for community lots. And I think that whole pack kind of sparked that community lot joy for me, if you will. And I've just been enjoying making them a lot recently and just coming up with different ideas that I think would be fun in Sims 4, which is why I'm kind of building what I am today as well. So the main concept here is basically a motel. I think initially I wanted it to look more retro, perhaps to kind of reflect the more retro neighborhood that I've been making for Oasis Springs, and for it to kind of stand out more as an older building in comparison to the other three quite modern community lots that are next to this one. I did use an inspiration picture for this one, and if I'm able to find back to it, then I'll make sure to show it on screen for you all to see so you can get an idea of what I wanted to make, like how I wanted this to look like. So the build might have that classic motel shape and all, but it still looks kind of modern on the outside. I think because of the siding maybe, but I did mix in a stone wall as well, and I think I'm using the one from the Bowling Night stuff, which is a great pack for some more retro stuff in the game if you're interested in that, along with the Get Famous expansion pack. So I am building this on the commercial strip in Oasis Springs, by the way, which is an area I quite like. It is by the water, and there's a little play area for kids just across the main road here. And yeah, for this road I have made some modern apartments, and that one was one of the first builds I did in Oasis Springs, so it's kind of weird to look or like see how far I've gotten since then. There will be some wealthier Sims living there, such as an actress and her daughter. There will be a music producer, and then there will be the businesswoman who owns the apartments. Right next to that, there is a modern lounge, and then there is a modern yoga studio on the furthest right-hand side here. I don't think I really knew what I wanted for this area in the beginning, except for the apartments. So I think I've gone through several stages of I wanted to look like this, and I wanted to look like that. And the same goes for the commercial lots in Willow Creek. I think that area has been probably the toughest one so far for me, and I think I might still be a bit uncertain if I'm 100% satisfied with how it's looking currently, but I can always come back to it later and change things if I feel like it. I feel like that will be happening regardless, especially if we're getting new expansions, game packs, and stuff packs. I might change out just a couple of things in builds if I feel like the new items work better for that specific build, and the same probably goes for Sims as well. But I will try my best to not change too many things. And then the lot I'm doing for today's build, I had so many different ideas, like a splash park, a restaurant, mall, like all of these different things. I got a lot of ideas from you guys as well through comments, so I could have probably gone in a totally different direction than what I ended up doing. But I think I just have this thing for motels. I have done quite a lot of motels before actually, So this might be my fourth or fifth motel build I've done in The Sims 4 in the last 5 years or so. And I know that technically it won't function as a motel or hotel, but I think if you end up turning this into a small business venue and you pick to sleep as one of the customer activities, then in some way you can make it work. Then you can just pick other activities as well, such as swimming, playing games, and so on. So Sims Visiting can use the entire build in a sense. But as of right now, this is a pool lot. I always forget there isn't a bowling alley lot type, but I don't think Sims automatically use the bowling lanes if it is a pool lot. I might be wrong about that. I think you might need to turn it into a lounge, a bar, or something similar like that. But if any of you know, then do let me know as well. So currently I'm just trying to figure out the whole shape of the build, and there is going to be a walkthrough area with a cover or roof that goes from one building to the other. So the small room on the right hand side is going to be 2 bathrooms, because I would imagine you'd need some sort of place to use the toilet, maybe take a shower, change the diapers on your kids, like that sort of thing. So it's more like a public toilet space, because if you're actually staying at the hotel, then you would have your own bathroom in your room, of course. Then I wanted there to be a fenced in area with a pool, so more of a private area for Sims to hang out, go swimming, that kind of thing. And I did something different for this pool, as you might have noticed. So I raised the foundation for the pool because you can actually do that. And I don't know if it really makes sense to have an above ground pool at a motel like this, but again, I really just wanted it to be a bit different and stand out. For this to actually be functional though, I had to add another raised part connected to the pool, and then I added a staircase. You can also add a ladder if you want to do that instead. And in that way your Sims can actually get up and jump into the pool or use the pool ladder. I've done a similar pool a couple of times before and I kind of like it. I love that we have the ability of making rounded pools now as well. It came in a base game update just before Lovestruck came out, so it's like perfect for a mid-century or retro home, especially in my opinion, but I'm certain you can make it work for a lot of different styles. And other than that, I added a couple more details to the pool, such as this aircon to make it look like it's part of the actual pool. And then I put in this a short column from Live Edit, if I'm not mistaken, and I placed it all around the sides of the pool. And I thought it would be fun to make it look like there was a ball just floating in the water, like a volleyball or something like that. So I think I used this big play ball for horses actually, and I sized it down using the bracket keys on my keyboard. And then I raised it up with the Alt and 0 key, I think it is. I'm always confused if it's Alt 9 or 0, but either way you can use those to raise and lower an item in the game. And the reason why I use Alt is because there are these like camera frames that can be locked to everything from 9 to 5. So if you do Alt first, then you will reset that whole thing. So just a little tip for that. So I just added those extra details to make it look more realistic, and surrounding the pool, of course, we needed some loungers, umbrellas, towels, and some benches. I think I also included a smaller pool by the bathroom so that toddlers can also participate in the water fun. And I love doing this trick where I place pool loungers against a wall, or in this case, the fence. And the way I do this is by using the tool mod by Twisted Mexi, and this mod is great for building, decorating, and making custom alterations to items in the game. But don't worry if you don't have mods installed or you play on console, you don't need that mod to play in this build. So with the tool mod, I was able to rotate the lounger to make it look like it's standing instead of laying down. And that's a trick I've been using for years now. It just makes it look even more realistic, you know. Oh, and I also found this safety net from the Snowy Escape Live Edit. I think it's supposed to be used for the skiing hill in Mount Komorebi, but I love to use it as a volleyball net or something similar. So I raised 2 of those nets up to make it look like it's attached to the pool. I really wish the net came in different colors because the only swatch is this kind of bright orange color and it doesn't always fit. But I decided to go with it here because I liked the overall idea of it. And I think the outdoors pool area turned out pretty cool. And at the front of the build, there is just another fenced in area with just a couple of benches and a grill. And yeah, otherwise the shell of the build is kind of done, I would say. And Overall, I wanted this build to be a get-together place that could be nice for summer days by the pool, or perhaps you can host a birthday party at the bowling alley, either for kids, teens, or even older Sims, if you will. But yeah, I feel like everyone can hang out here and have a good time. I wanted this place to be for everyone. I think I'm going to add a social club for people who love to bowl as well and set this lot as the hangout spot because I actually don't have any other bowling alleys at the moment. At the start, that was kind of an idea I had as well, to have a lot where bowling was the main attraction, but that didn't happen. So instead, I ended up with this, and I'm not mad about it. It's kind of fun to mix and match different activities because, again, it's more versatile and more Sims can take joy in hanging out here. But yeah, I do have a couple of Sims who love bowling, so this place would be perfect for them. And if they are older Sims, then this has probably been the place they've hung out for years, maybe even decades. And like I mentioned earlier on in the video, this build is more on the modern side, but I feel like it has probably been around for a while, but just gone through different renovations to kind of stay fresh and trendy in a way. As you can see, I've already started on the interior here. I decided to leave out the footage of me doing the floor plan, so I think I just quickly show the floor plan before I started decorating. It took some time to get it right, so I just decided to skip that part entirely. But yeah, I just quickly did the outdoors public bathrooms that I mentioned earlier in the video. And then I wanted there to be a little reception area, I guess, where you can check in and out, but also buy some small things such as a drink, food, towels, sunscreen, and things like that. I also added in the ice cream machine from the Cool Kitchen stuff pack, I believe. I realized as I was building this that I really wish we had like a small ice cream fridge, you know, one you will find in a grocery store. It would have fit perfectly for a community lot like this one, or just a regular grocery store lot, which technically I do think you can make functional with a retail lot type. So I think that would have been perfect, but instead I added in some of these standing fridges from Get to Work. I think it might be to give this that, you know, sort of grocery store look and feel. Next to this room, there will be a laundry room for guests staying at the motel or for just regular residents stopping by, because there are probably too many washers and dryers for them to be just for guests. So technically a small laundromat, if you will. So I decorated it accordingly with, you know, detergent, laundry baskets, hampers, and so on. The locker that I added in there is from high school years, by the way. I love using that one for community lots, sort of like an employee locker where they can put away stuff for their shift. That's what I imagine it would be used for anyway. And yeah, I redid this whole entry area at least once because I couldn't really figure out the colors, especially for the floor and walls. So in the end, I ended up with this blue-green linoleum flooring, which I thought looked kind of retro. It's fun at the same time, in my opinion, and I paired it with this striped concrete-ish wall from Discover University, which I often forget about. It has such vibrant swatches, so maybe I just tend to look past it, but the gray and muted yellow one works surprisingly well here. And I use those for the arcade and bowling alley area as well. As for the actual motel part, there are going to be 7 rooms in total. Most of them are going to be regular double bed rooms, but I also included 2 bigger rooms, each of them with 2 double beds, and an extra dining space that none of the others have, just to fill up some of that extra space. And I thought it would be fun to include the Lovestruck heart bed in one of the smaller rooms. So I did a lot of the interior decorating of this over on Twitch, by the way, and we decided to call that room the honeymoon suite or the woohoo suite, depending on the reason why you're here, obviously. But yeah, it's not the fanciest room, not at all. I just wanted to add something extra, like a bit different. I don't think I show me decorating all the rooms because they're all pretty much the same and it's kind of repetitive watching that over and over again, so I decided to just include a few rooms to give you the feel of how it's going to end up looking. All of the rooms will be having their own connected bathrooms, and I thought it would be handy to have some sort of small kitchenette. You wouldn't be able to cook anything fancy here at all, but there is a mini fridge, some counters, and a sink, so you could imagine you could prepare something very simple. And honestly, I could have added in a tea kettle as well, but I just decided to go simple. There is also a vending machine down by the pool, so if your Sims do get hungry and don't have the simple meal from the mini fridge, then you could always check out the vending machine. Oh, and I decided to add carpet to all the motel rooms because why not? I never really add carpets to the rooms in my Sims builds, but when the build is more on the retro side, I feel more inclined to add it, so I just did it here. Then we're on to the last area of today's build, which is the bowling alley with some extra activities such as the arcade machine. There are 2 separate karaoke rooms and a board games or puzzle room. As you can see, I have used the same floor and wallpaper as I did in the first room. I just thought they looked real good together here too, and I love that I found a similar swatch for this bench in the entry area. That one's from the high school years pack, and I find that pack to have so many cute and colorful items. And I'll definitely be using the bean bags from that pack too. The beanbag is honestly my go-to quote-unquote armchair in the game, especially for kids and teen rooms. And I just think it could work here as well as like a fun detail. In the entry area, I thought it would be fun to include the Simmy's vending machine, which is basically its own collection in the game. And if you're not familiar with Simmy's in the game, this is something that came with the Snowy Escape pack, and they're these like small figurines, I guess you can call them. You can collect them, and you get a random figurine every time, so you never know which one you will get. So think of it as a la Boo Boo, but it's in the vending machine basically. I guess that's the best comparison I can give you right now because la Boo Boos are like, they have been really popular as of recently. So yeah, I thought that would be a fun addition to this area along with a bigger reception area with a bar. Initially, I wanted the bar to be downstairs where the bowling lanes area is, but the bar just fit perfectly up here instead, and it kind of makes more sense, I guess. The cash register I place here is from Get to Work, by the way. It doesn't function in the way it's meant to be here, of course, but again, just adding it for a realistic touch to the build. So you could get some drinks and snacks from here. Behind the counters, I also combined some of the Dream Home Decorator cube shelves together to create this shelf unit for shoes. Because if you do want to go bowling, you would have to switch out your shoes. There is actually one of those shoe racks from the Bowling Night Stuff pack, but I wasn't fond of any of the swatches, so I decided to just make my own instead, and I think it works. I've also connected a small kitchen to the bar, and to the side, before going down the stairs, there are toilets. I felt like I had to include that. It's very common, of course, to provide toilets in a community area like this one. In the left room next to that again, there is the arcade machine and a photo booth. I absolutely love that item from high school years, and I love that you actually get the photos you take and you can frame them and hang them on the wall or on a shelf. And next to there again, I added a lot of these computers because I would imagine Sims would go here and play some games. It might be a bit old school, but I still really like the idea of like public computers for some reason. It's like a computer cafe in a way, like internet cafe. And I mentioned before the games room and the karaoke rooms. All of them are pretty simple, so I don't feel like mentioning too much about them other than that they were there. And going downstairs, there are the bowling lanes. I managed to fit in 3 of them. I think that was enough, like not overwhelming. And I thought of doing this fun idea with the customizable couches from Dream Home Decorator. So for those, you can switch between different part options, if you will. And one of the options is actually a curved version. So I put 2 of those curved couches together to create a half circle, and I think they ended up looking cool together. So each of the lane, they have their own seating areas. And other than that, there's just a lot of space for the bowling balls, and both downstairs and upstairs I put in this trophy shelf, which I imagine would be used to store different trophies, of course, from competitions, from maybe the local bowling team. So sort of like a memorabilia, if you will. So yeah, other than that, I am just finishing up the build here and we'll soon head into the screenshots. So that's basically it for this video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, make sure to leave a like, comment, and subscribe for more content in the future. If you want to be notified of when I upload a video next, make sure to click the bell icon too. This build is playtested and up on my gallery. My ID is honeymaysims, or you can find me with the hashtag honeymaysims as well. You can also grab the tray files in the description. Big shout out to my Patreon supporters and my YouTube members. I appreciate you so much. So thank you all so much for hanging out with me today, and I can't wait to talk to you all in the next video. Until then, take care. Bye!